All right, everybody, I'm Logan Alec. I'm a CPA, and since we're on the topic of stimulus proposals, I wanted to let you know about another proposal that has been made about House Democrats, okay? It's called the Strengthening UI, that stands for Unemployment Insurance for Coronavirus Impacted Workers and Students Act. Among other things, this proposal proposes to extend and expand the FPUC, that stands for the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, that's part of the CARES Act, that provides the extra $600 per week for those on unemployment. As it stands right now, that is set to expire at the end of July, okay? But this proposal by House Democrats sets to push that out to December 31st, okay? And I'm going to tell you all the details of this proposal. But first, I really need to be honest with you. Based on the circumstances we're seeing right now, on May 5th, 2020, with some states partially reopening, right? States putting together more plans to reopen, businesses calling their employees back to work, making them therefore ineligible for unemployment benefits anymore. Okay, so in light of all this that's going on right now, with the economy seemingly picking back up a little bit, right? With that going on, I don't think Republicans are going to sign off on a bill proposing the kind of expanded unemployment benefits that are proposed in this bill or this proposal. Okay, I mean, if they're willing to throw more money at something, I think if they're willing to put more money in unemployment, I think they would be just as willing, if not more so, to go with Josh Hawley's proposal, which basically has the feds covering up to 80% of workers' wages up to the median, right? Because at least that would get people back to work, right, and get the economy going again, which is what the Republicans want. Of course, Hawley's proposal would be incredibly expensive as well. Anyway, right, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up by describing this bill, right, and saying, oh, look, this is gonna happen. The extra $600 is gonna be extended through December 31st. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. I want to be real here. That said, anything can happen, right? If the virus situation takes a sharp turn for the worse, anything's fair game, okay? Even the Emergency Money for the People Act. But just given the current environment with states reopening, right? Some people going back to work, Trump being all about the payroll tax cuts to get people back to work, right? And I know not every Republican is on board with him, but still the general orientation of the Republican Party right now, right, and with a Republican president and a Republican-controlled Senate, is that they want to get people back to work, right? And if you saw Trump's tweet a few hours ago, what was he talking about? He was talking about eliminating sanctuary cities, the payroll tax cuts that I mentioned previously. He was talking about capital gains elimination or cuts, right? He was talking about the lawsuit indemnification that I told you McConnell was calling for, right, for employers that are calling their employees back to work. And it looks like he's also has on his mind an expanded meals and entertainment deduction, okay? Because that deduction was weakened by the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And just on that last point there, when he's talking about an enhanced or increased meals and entertainment deduction, think about it. That means he wants workers in the entertainment venues, okay? I mean, if the Staples Center or whatever is closed for the Lakers games, right, and all the employees are collecting unemployment, no one could get a meals and entertainment deduction for going to Staples Center, right? It wouldn't be possible. So what's on Trump's mind right now is reopening the economy, right? And his mind seems to be on things that are very far removed from increasing unemployment benefits, at least to the degree proposed by this proposal I'm going to tell you about, okay? But this all being said, right, it's good to be informed. That's my perspective on things, okay? And, it's good so that, if you hear other people talking about this proposal or other YouTubers talking about it, you basically know what it is and you know that it probably has a small chance of passing because it's pretty much opposed to Republican goals at this point, right? But remember, politics is about compromise, okay? If there is a next relief package, and it looks like, Republicans and Democrats both want something, right? Remember, the House is controlled by Democrats, right? So if there is not a relief package, there are likely to be compromises on both sides. There might be a little, Democrat influence and some Republican influence all kind of blended into this one big bill, kind of like the CARES Act, right? So we may very well see elements right, of this unemployment proposal in the next relief package, but I doubt that it would be as robust as this proposal itself is with respect to the unemployed. Okay, so what is this bill? Like I said, they're calling it the Strengthening UI on Coronavirus Impacted Workers and Students Act. It has 53 co-sponsors right now, which is more than the Emergency Money for the People Act, okay, but I don't put too much stock in that. Doesn't matter how many co-sponsors a bill has if the nature of the bill is misaligned with the president's goals and the goals of the party controlling the Senate, right? Anyway, this bill is proposed by Representative Dan Kildee of Michigan in the House and introduced by Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island in the Senate. This bill would expand the FPUC, the extra $600 a week for those on unemployment, right, which currently under the CARES Act only runs through July 31st. This bill would extend that to December 31st, okay? And if you're in the middle of your unemployment benefits, including the extra 13 weeks provided for you by the CARES Act, right, if you're in the middle of your unemployment benefits on December 31st, you can still finish receiving your full benefits, right, even after December 31st, right, as long as it's on or before June 30th, 2021. They're calling that last bit there a soft cutoff. So they're saying the FPUC is extended to a soft cutoff of December 31st. There is no soft cutoff right now under the CARES Act. The $600 a week stops cold turkey on July 31st, okay? Also, this bill would make the extra $600 retroactive back to March 13th. That's the date the president declared a national emergency, right? Right now, as things are today, the earliest that $600 would go is back to March 29th. Okay. This proposal would also make it law that those on short-term compensation or work-sharing programs would be eligible for the $600 weekly. And, right, you notice in the title of this proposal talks about students. This is what it's getting at right here, right? Okay. This bill would propose a $300 per week federal benefit to individuals willing and able to work, who may very well be unemployed if COVID wasn't happening, right? But they don't have recent attachments to the labor force, right? Because to be eligible for unemployment benefits in general, you would need to have had a recent attachment to the labor force. For example, you were working a job or you had a bona fide job offer with a start date or something like that. But this bill says, hey, even if you don't have a recent attachment to the labor force, if you're willing and able to work but you can't find work due to COVID, okay, even if you don't have a recent attachment to the labor force, you know, for example, if you're a student or you're a recent graduate, you would still be eligible for the $300 a week. Okay. Also, something else this bill proposes is to exempt unemployment benefits from income for means-tested programs, all of them. Okay. What's a means-tested program? By means, they basically mean your income, basically, and sometimes your assets as well, to see if you're eligible for some federal program. Okay. If your means, right, are too high, for example, you make too much money, then you wouldn't be eligible for that particular program. An example is Medicaid, okay? You can't make more than a certain amount of money and still be eligible for Medicaid. Now, under the CARES Act, unemployment benefits, right, the FPUC, the 600 and all that, they're not counted as income for determining Medicaid eligibility or for determining eligibility for the Children's Health Insurance Program, CHIP, right? However, as things exist right now, unemployment benefits, the FPUC, right, the extra 600, could affect the means calculation, could affect one's eligibility for programs like Section 8, federally assisted housing, SNAP benefits, that's food stamps, temporary assistance for needy families, and the special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children. So what this bill would do is say, okay, for all of those means-tested programs, not just Medicaid and CHIP, for all of those means-tested programs, unemployment compensation, including the FPUC, the $600, would not be considered when determining eligibility. It would not be considered income, okay? It would not be considered means. So it basically mean that no one, you know, would lose their food stamps eligibility, okay? You know, for example, because the extra $600 a week puts them over the income limit, all right? Okay, so that's the Strengthening UI for Coronavirus Impacted Workers and Students Act. Like I said, probably has very little chance of getting through the Senate or being signed by Trump as is, okay? But remember that in politics, a lot of compromises are made. So maybe the next relief bill, we might see little bits and pieces from this proposal and from that proposal, okay? So keep that in mind. right? I just want to share this with you, okay? Check out the link below for free stocks, as well as a link to my review that I wrote of my absolute favoritist cashback credit card. Check those puppies out, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.